Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you don't know who I am, my name is Maggie and I make videos about hermit crabs on the internet sometimes. Welcome, and I have seen a few requests for this particular video. It's just taken me like a really long time to get around to it and I don't know why. I've tried to film this same video like 10 times. And every time I do it, just something comes up. I don't get to edit the actual video itself, and then I forget about it, and then or I feel like there's a way that I could do the video better, and then I don't, and anyway, here we are. We're doing it today. Like, for sure. Doing it today. So, this is going to be an updated 100-gallon video, and hopefully, this will help you guys out some. And just as a disclaimer, there might be different information out there on the internet, different from what I'm doing. This is just personally what works for me and what I have researched and found to work. So if you disagree with anything in this video, totally understandable. If you feel like just yelling about it in the comments, go for it. Do what you gotta do, and hopefully we'll be able to come to an understanding at some point. But all of my husbandry in this bad boy is finally correct. It's taken so long for the humidity to get right and the temperatures, and I've had to try so much different stuff with the heat mats and the thermostat, and like so many parts and pieces of this took for frickin' ever to figure out what they were gonna do with themselves, and it's been a long time coming. So in my last video I actually had shown you guys all of the stuff that I had bought to put in this particular tank. That didn't exactly end up happening. Most of it did. But a few things from that video did not make the cut into this completed tank. I'm sure at some point I'll redecorate and be able to use all the things that I didn't get to use to begin with. But all of the things in here are have a sealant on them, so none of the paint comes off. That was my big priority there, was that no paint comes off and that there's no like crazy varnish that could come off of the decorations or whatever. So that was my big concern with this whole deal. I do have some chia sprouts in there right now, as you can see right up here. And those are the only plants that I recommend to put live into a hermit crab tank. I don't think that any other plants are really suitable. The roots from other live plants will cause tunnel disruption and probably disturb molting space and stuff like that, and you don't want to do that. So, just some specs about this tank. This is a 48-inch long and 24-inch wide, 24-inch tall tank. So this is a 4x2x2, and it has 9 inches of 5 parts Eco Earth, 1 part play sand. I'm actually a dumbass. It's really 5 parts play sand, 1 part Eco Earth in the substrate here. A lot of people will say that this sand here is a problem because it's not all the way mixed in. In my experience, it hasn't caused me any issues. I'm not that worried about it. People claim that it causes the substrate to become very acid and can kill your hermit crabs or cause them injury. And I've never had an issue with it, so I'm really not that worried about it, but prove me wrong. Another thing that a lot of people are not huge fans of that I have done here is the natural false bottom. One of my options for a false bottom was to take egg crate and light diffuser and PVC and silicone and, you know, all kinds of crazy shit to create a false bottom, and I didn't do that. What I have done is taken Seachem Prime treated water and cleaned all of these river rocks off, and then I've taken multiple layers of landscaping fabric, put it on top, siliconed the edges down. There is a drainage tube that comes out of one of the edges that I can take the water out of, and it's been working fairly well. I'm not too worried about them digging 9 inches down into the rocks because they physically cannot get to the rocks. There's 3 pieces of landscape fabric in between the substrate and the rocks, so they're very safe. There's absolutely no way they're getting to those rocks, and I made sure of it. This tank has been crab tested and crab approved for about 4 months now. They've been doing well. We have started, you know, putting chia in, and they just got their food changed out, so they've got new food. I have not seen any of them today, now that I think about it, but that may just mean that they're all just kind of hanging out somewhere. But if I can find one, I'll point them out to you. If I can't, then maybe they're under somewhere. I don't know. And before I actually show you guys this tank, I will say that this is far from finished. We're not done here. I am using a piece of greenhouse plastic as the tank's lid, and as you can also see, I've got a towel set over the top there to try and keep some of the temperature and the humidity in. That greenhouse plastic is not really saving my life at all right now. It's kind of killing me with the weight of the UVB hood and the, in general, flexibleness of it. It's kind of killing me. They also had cut this particular piece of greenhouse plastic to fit as a fish tank, so there are holes for the filter and for your like sump intake and outtake. This was a saltwater tank before, by the way. And that's what I've been doing as a lid for quite some time now, to be honest. I need to go get a piece of I'll be either using corrugated plastic or plexiglass for the lid when I do put the lid on there. I'm pretty sure we're going to cut some handles in, or some holes, so you can stick a finger in there and pull it up. And I'm also pretty positive that we're going to cut a hole in that lid piece so that there can be a topper on top. I still haven't really decided what size tank I'm going to go with for the topper. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 20 gallons, a 40. I might even consider a 50 if it's not too heavy for this tank to hold up. Or that plexiglass or corrugated plastic, whatever ends up being used. So with all of that being said, after giving you all the lowdown on this stuff, I will take you up here, and VoiceOver Maggie will come in and take her claim to fame and show you guys around, show you what's going on in here, and tell you all about it. So let's get it. So here we are, starting on the far right side of the tank. Here you can see their food for today. They've got a Pinky Mouse, some honey, a piece of an orange, some olive oil, some spring mix greens, and some mushrooms. And then their shell shop is back there in the corner. They've got some of these coconut huts with some sphagnum moss shoved in them, and I will wet those down every once in a while. Kind of helps with humidity. Up top here we've got 2 of these little shower suction baskets that I also spray down the moss in to kind of help with humidity and give them a high place to hang out. That stick just came out of my yard, and there's nothing really special about that guy. Here you see this big resin wood pit that I have. I use that as a moss pit. They like to hang out in there a lot. Gives them a little perch to sit on and a place to just kind of observe. It's also a good spot to absorb some UVB from that hood right up above it. Then in the back you see some more hanging baskets, those analog piece of shit temp gauges and humidity gauges. Those aren't my main source of humidity and temperature keeping. Then here you see some more fake plants, a chunk of cholla wood, and some more of these little resin decorations. I think these are really cute. I've kind of gone with like a Zen garden theme here with this tank, and again, that stick right there, there's nothing really special about that guy. He just came out of my yard. You do want to make sure if you're ever pulling any wood out of your yard to use in your tank that it is a safe type of wood for them to kind of eat and be around, and just make sure that everything's alright there. This stick right here is a piece of grape wood, I believe, and I bought it off of Amazon forever ago. I really do not remember when I acquired that piece of wood. Then we have a little tree hut that my crabs constantly knock off all of the little plastic flower pieces on top, and they try to eat them sometimes, which obviously never really works out. They like to sit on top of that and just kind of hang out most of the time. If you just heard a very violent sneeze come from my kitchen, I'm very sorry. Or 2 violent sneezes, I'm very sorry. Anyway, so if you keep moving along, there is another coconut hut. Like to sit in that one sometimes because this is the warmer side of the tank. Down here they've also got a piece of Malaysian driftwood that came from Zoomed, I believe. It might have been Zilla, actually. Don't quote me on that. If I can find it, I'll link it for you guys. But yes. And now if we continue moving here, their pools will be getting small 1-gallon filters and bubblers in the coming weeks. But these are what I use for filters currently. The pieces of craft mesh that are serving as a bridge were glued on with 100% silicone, and so were all of the rocks in the bottom. Their water gets replaced every 3 days. And yes, there's a full view of that. I have not seen any of the crabs, and I don't know where they are at. But I guess, I don't know. Maybe they could be in here. Nope. Nobody's in there. Well, I guess they'll just hide from us today, I suppose. Alright, so that was the tour of the inside of the tank, and now I'm going to tell you guys some about the heating and the lighting that I've got going on in here. So on the back of this tank, I am currently using a Reptile Basics 6-inch by 48-inch or 42-inch heat mat. I'll link it down below if I can find it. And I'm also using 2 Zoomed heat mats on either side of that. All 3 of them are on a Jumpstart thermostat. Sorry. Those are all on a Jumpstart thermostat, and they all are set to 83 degrees. So that's the hottest it'll ever get in that tank. I'm also using I believe it's Zoomed. I think the hood that I am using is Zoomed. A Zoomed Reptisun 10.0 bulb, I'm pretty sure is what I'm using. And that's like the maximum that they sell. It's the largest hood and the strongest UVB bulb that they sell. And that's what I've got running in here. It runs on 12-hour cycles, shuts on and shuts off by itself using a Century timer. I use a AccuRite weatherproof thermostat to keep all of my temperatures and humidity in check. And I only use organic and pesticide-free foods and pellets and, or not pellets, seeds. That's what those are called. Pesticide-free and organic seeds and foods and all that stuff. So that's what they get fed. Usually I try to feed them color-rich food and protein and calcium for exoskeletal strength and just in general health. And they do get the color-rich food for their colors. I do like to see like the colors of my crabs. Most of them are Ecuadorian crabs just because that's how the cookie crumbles. I didn't buy these crabs. They came to me from various places. And now they all live together. So maybe I will make another video about this on when I get the new lid and put new, you know, toppers on and all kinds of crazy stuff. We're definitely not done here, and I've had a lot of fun putting this together. Really, genuinely, I did enjoy putting this whole thing together. My dad and I built the stand together, and I got to have complete creative liberty with the inside of this thing. It was so fun to put together and to plant and to plan and to, you know, decorate, and it was really cool. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something today that will make your animal's life easier, something that will make your life easier. And I hope that you will hit the subscribe button, stick around. Maybe you want to start keeping crabs. It's a really fun hobby to get into. Just remember to adopt ethically. And in the following weeks after this video, I will be making more videos on how to sex your crabs. I've got an idea for a PetSmart or Petco. I don't shop at either of those places, but to be honest, I just want to see what their animals, what kind of situation their animals live in. I kind of want to go see that, even though I'm probably going to be very upset. I do want to go shell shopping with you guys. I think that would be really fun to show you guys the process of how I acquire all of these shells and what I look for in them and stuff like that. But if you would like to see any of those videos, if anything like that tickles your fancy, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys next time. Goodbye.